Next, we're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, across all our social media handles. We are Joy News on TV. Coming up within the next 60 minutes, more reactions to statement by the security services to use brute force on anyone who torments violence on election day. Also coming up, President Akufo-Addo to commission some new trains in the Tema and Pakadan line today. We're live there for details. And then we'll take you to Safari Valley Resorts for the MGL Safari Valley Eco Initiative. We also have business updates in this bulletin. My name is Faustina Sabo. Take a seat. Please be my guest. We are indeed your election headquarters, and election headquarters is brought to you in association with Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chop Box, a convenience service, German Ozone Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Also brought to you by Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. Syntax thanks a strong, a tough, potential real estate, your trusted partner in real estate, Deluxe Paints champion. Well, today we are analyzing a statement by some security forces and officers on the use of brute force on election day. We'll start from the commanding officer of the Achiasi Jungle Warfare School, Lieutenant Colonel Jacob Kujo, who says the military would not hesitate to act if law enforcement agencies are unable to maintain order during the election period.
Only coming this 7th December, within the Achimansa enclave, when police tells me that they cannot, and when I come, I will not talk. I will beat you and the hell with you. I always want people to try me. So those of us seated here, any of you can try me on that day, or try any of my men on that day. When you go to the polling station, just cast your vote, go home, go and sleep. Thank you. When it is 5 p.m., come. They will tell you where to stand. They will count for you. If you win, clap, go home. Then you will not have any problem with me and then my people. We are not going to sit down for just 2 or 3 people to distort the peace that Ghana is enjoying. That is why I don't vote. I don't want to belong to anybody, but I want to beat everybody. We have a duty as religion or religious heads, as security heads, as family heads, as individuals, to protect the good things that we have as a country. And the only good thing we have as a country now is the peace that we are enjoying. Because with the peace, everything can go on. If we distort it now, nothing can go on. See, you will be hungry more than me.
Well, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, has also said the police will use all necessary force to prevent electoral violence.
Where we need to engage, we will engage. Where we need to de-escalate, we will de-escalate. But where we need to be merciless when it comes to the application of law within the context of rule of law under our democratic dispensation, we can tell you that for the sake of the sanctity of the state called Ghana, we'll stop at nothing. And I repeat, we'll stop at nothing.
Well, the governing New Patriotic Party seems to endorse these moves. Justin Kodia from Pong is General Secretary of the NPP.
We need to get to that point for the police to be ruthless in dealing with certain people. It's elections. Go express your view. Go and decide who you want to govern this country in the next 4 years. If
you support the police if they have.
Fully support the police. If it happens like that.
We will be doing some analysis on this just to get the thoughts of other political parties. We've heard from the NPP. We will be hearing from the NDC as well as a security analyst as you just count down to the election. Just 15 days more. Well, before we bring you that, the presidential candidate of Movement for Change, Alan Kyerematen, has attributed the high level of youth unemployment in Ghana to bad governance while speaking at Sunyani Traditional Council. As part of his tour of Sunyani East and West, he appealed to Ghanaians to give him the mandate for his long-held jobs for the people, cash for the people slogan to manifest with the implementation of his great transformational plan. Precious Semevo has more in this report.
Alan Kyerematen's tour of Sunyani East and West in the Bono region was for him to explain his great transformational plan for Ghana. He engaged Tra, Odumase, and Sunyani traditional councils, Muslim leaders and the clergy who prayed for him, and the College of Nursing and Midwifery students in Sunyani, among others. The nursing students welcomed him with a song, Alan Bako, a Juma Bebre, to which Alan alone can create many jobs. While explaining his policies to ensure they hit the ground running after school, he appealed to the students to break the NDC and MPP duopoly for a brighter future. He told the chiefs that bad governance has been the reason for the increase in unemployment, but he could fix it if elected. In response to Alan Kyerematen's promise for chiefs to lead local governance, the acting president of Sunyani Traditional Council, Nana Kwaku Sabin, said they know his capabilities.
Yewura achire de opese odinananom faso. De ere ka o Sunyani Traditional Council yinane say yemu bi follow yenim ne ubetimi aye. Ministry of Trade nko a de we no ho is on record in Ghana here. Ayada na nipa say
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Odumase.
Well, let's take you back to our earlier story and do some analysis on how the police and the military plan to ensure that the upcoming polls is free and fair. They've served notice that they would not restrain themselves from using brute force should anyone be involved in anything that would cause chaos. Let's bring in a member of Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee, himself a former police officer, Superintendent retired Peter Toobu. Thank you so much for your time here on NewsDesk. We just want to get your initial reaction. Is that the way to go, using brute force on individuals who cause chaos in the upcoming polls?
Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to our cherished viewers and listeners.
Good morning.
The police service is responsible for providing security for our elections. It is actually the lead agency in electoral security. The police service is mandated by law to use minimum force. The police service is no longer a police force. Application of force in providing service is the wrong direction. But at least the law allows you to use minimum force. If it comes that the police will be ruthless in dealing with miscrimes that are likely to disrupt our elections, I will stand by the police in ensuring that the elections are peaceful through whatever means. That's notwithstanding. We are very much aware of what happened in Kyerematen in 2020, and I want to believe that those people were miscreants and probably imposters and not soldiers. So I will assure the police, as much as we want to cooperate with the security agencies in ensuring that this election is peaceful, we will deal ruthlessly with anybody who appears as an imposter. And by that, we are supporting the police. If the police are ruthless with people who want to disrupt the elections, the civilian population will be ruthless with people who are in uniform and they are imposters.
Oh, but we cannot endorse that on live television, Peter Toobu.
Come again?
Unfortunately, we cannot endorse that statement on live television because that would be just causing individuals to act lawless on election day. We're just looking at the police approach.
Let me land. Probably you will get me right.
Because we want peace to prevail, don't we?
Yes. Oh, yes. Let me land.
Okay.
I am saying that this election must be peaceful. And anybody who wants to disrupt the elections, the police are saying, if you want to disrupt the election, we'll deal with you. And I'm saying, as an ordinary civilian, if the police are acting professionally to protect all of us, we will support the police. And any other person who appears in uniform, and we believe that this is an imposter, like what happened in Kyerematen, and that now we cannot identify the people, I think that the civilian population should also be up and say, this is a no-no, because we need this country very peaceful. Let me tell you something. All of us, the police service, the military, it is a structured institution. It's a regimented institution. There is no way you can deploy 100 police officers to a duty, and when they return, somebody fires and kills, and you cannot identify the person. It doesn't happen. If you can't identify that person, it means that the person was not part of the deployment plan. And if that person was not part of the deployment plan, the person is likely to be an imposter. And if that person is an imposter, the civilian population must help the police to fish that person out and deal with that person according to law.
But there are also sentiments that we have just 15 days to the December 7th polls. Already, there's very little trust in the Electoral Commission, especially from the biggest opposition party, the NDC. There are concerns about individuals on the ground wanting to cause trouble. And so the approach of the police, you have raised concerns that it's not the right approach to go. What would you propose they do to ensure that the election is free and fair?
What the police ought to do, and they're not doing best, is to ensure that men and women in youth appear at the polling stations without arms. Is to ensure that their rapid response teams are within 10 minutes of response. And to ensure that in collaboration with the Electoral Commission, the officers working for the EC must be very professional to the core. I have said that professionalism is a security in itself, and professionalism creates insecurity. So if you are working for the EC, and you are very professional in doing what you want to do, and doing it best to the admiration of the people who are voting, I am sure that that alone is also security. But if you create insecurity by yourself, you put pressure on the men and women in uniform. And when you put pressure on them, and they, all of us have to blame. Let everybody take for their work right. If you are an officer, please be professional. If you are a police officer, please be professional. If you are a voter, please be a responsible citizen. Professionalism from the side of the uniform people, responsibility from the side of the civilian population, and this election will be a very peaceful one. We all have a duty, and we must all respect that.
Finally, as we wrap up the conversation, the greater concern about the police and the military trying to adopt force in their attempt to sustain the peace during and after the election is the abuse of human rights. Because you have been a former police officer, expatiate on that for me.
It is a statement that I've made. This is an official statement. And sometimes in the security circles, there are statements that are made intended to achieve a particular objective. And probably the statement alone can calm nerves. The statement alone is a warning to people who probably were thinking evil. That does not necessarily mean that we follow through with live bullets. No. We've been in this democracy for almost 32 years. I think that the police and the military, they are up to the level that we should be better than the 2020 elections. Every election should be better than the previous one. And I want to believe that with the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, with the Inspector General of Police, the two gentlemen that I know so well, I want to believe that election 2024 will be one of the most peaceful. And the results will come and flow like milk and honey without disturbance.
We've also been joined by the Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Rashid Tanko. I'll come back to you, Peter Toobu, for your final words. But let me bring in Rashid Tanko at this point. We have heard from the New Patriotic Party. They're pleased with the police approach to dealing with individuals who may want to cause mayhem during, before, and after the elections. But I just wanted to get the thoughts of the NDC as a party. Are you comfortable with the approach the police is proposing to adopt?
Let me say good morning to your cherished listeners. Yeah, well, we had a meeting with them yesterday. We had a very fruitful discussion with them. I think
Dr. Rashid, you might have to position rightly for me. I am struggling to hear, and I'm sure my audience as well, so that we can just get the point you're making. If you just tuned in, we're discussing the elections and security during the elections. I'm hoping I have better connections to Dr. Rashid Tanko, so please make your point.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, Doc.
Very well. So I'm saying that, yes, we had a meeting with the IGP yesterday, a very fruitful discussion over the security for the elections, the deployment strategies and all that. I mean, it's well intentioned what he told us, everything, understandably, because they are in touch and told us what expect the indicated much policies and it went to officers and
Unfortunately, I still am struggling to hear you, Dr. Rashid Tanko. We might have to rework the lines to just get to him and then wrap up the conversation with Dr. Rashid Tanko. I still have Peter Toobu with me. Let me just get your final words as we wrap up the conversation. I'm still hoping that we'll reconnect with Dr. Rashid Tanko, computer.
Thank you very much. The last thing I want to make is that security officers in charge of the election are expected to be very impartial.
Okay.
Two core values. They should be impartial, they should be professional. And if they are impartial and professional, the story ends there. Impartiality and not neutrality. I don't expect the police officer or the soldier, if need be, to be neutral. I expect the police officer or the soldier to be impartial. What it simply means is that what is wrong? It doesn't matter which color you are wearing, it's wrong. Because on the election day there is no party, nobody wears any party color. So if you misbehave, nobody should be checking which party you belong to. What it is that you've offended the law and you have to be dealt with. So impartiality should lead the police in ensuring the peace and security before, during, and after the election. I think all of us will have a very beautiful country after that.
Thank you, Peter Toobu. He's member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament. Now, we will still be working the lines to get Dr. Rashid Tanko, computer, just to get the thoughts of the NDC. We've heard from the NPP sharing their thoughts about what exactly they feel should be done towards the polls. The police have served notice that they will not hesitate to use brute force should anyone try to disrupt the elections during, before, and after. And then we've heard from the NPP. They agree with that approach. We've been hearing from Peter Toobu. He's quite concerned about the abuse of human rights. He proposes that if the police acts professionally, there would not be anything onwards during the polls. But I'm just trying to get in Dr. Rashid Tanko. He was a member of that meeting yesterday. He was there himself, heard from the police. They've been engaging individuals, political parties, as well as the media. This time they are taking some sort of open approach towards dealing with information. Previously, you know that the police service, they have been tight-lipped, but this time they are opening their doors. They want to give information on how they plan to provide security during, before, and after the election. I'm told I have better connection now to Dr. Rashid Tanko. He is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. Thank you so much for your time here on NewsX. I just want to get your thoughts about the meeting yesterday and your opinion about the police approach to dealing with individuals who try to disrupt the polls.
Well, like I indicate, we had a very fruitful discussion with the IGP yesterday in terms of deployment and what is expected of we, the political party. We also indicated to them what is expected of the security, because elections are governed by rules, and the rules are very, very clear in terms of the Constitution and then the CI 127. So we are saying that their men should be properly briefed as to their rules, what is expected of them, instead of them to go there and arrogate certain powers to themselves that they don't have. And then clearly we will comply with everything that the IGP said. He said he is in charge of the security, internal security, yes, it's under, he has. What we also made it very clear to them was that, look, the issue of the military, because we've just trampled upon voices and video audios of certain military officers making some ugly noises around. And then we made it very clear to the IGP that, look, if they want peace in this country, they should call those rock guys to order. They don't have that power. They don't have that power, the kind of noise they are making over there. They should know that we are all Ghanaians. And they should know that very soon they will become civilians. They were once civilians before they became military officers. And they shouldn't think that they are going to be there till that kingdom comes. As we speak now, we work with former generals, former colonels, former lieutenants, and best snipers. They have retired. They've done their job, and they are there. So if you think that because he's wearing uniform, he can just make all noises to disturb the peace of this country, he should watch his utterances. So we told the IGP, because we're not going to accept that. No,
yeah, but this is coming at a time, Dr. Rashid Tanko, if you allow me coming at this one. This is coming at a time where we're yet to see a commitment from the NDC as a party to signing a peace pact. And so the concern right now is holding members of the party or party faithfuls accountable. The police is saying that we just want to ensure that you are secure during the elections. You feel otherwise?
No, we have no problem with that. We have no problem. That is why we indicated and said, look, we have no problem with that. You are in charge of security, internal security. You deploy your men, the other allied security will join you. So that we have a peaceful process at the polling stations and then at the collation center. But on the heels of it, you have military officers making utterances on platforms. To the extent we will come and beat people around, we will come and beat you. They should try it and see. They think they are the only people who have blood running through their veins. The law doesn't allow that. That is completely illegal. And such officers must be called to order. You don't have that power to go about beating people. Which law says when you come to police station, start beating people? Is that what the law says? If you come to police station and people are standing around the police station, start beating them? Or which law says that when I vote, after voting, I should go and sleep and come back in the evening? Do you know that people are planning to snatch ballot boxes or swap ballot boxes? Do you know that in 2020, 2 ballot boxes in Ahafo constituency cannot be traced? It was snatched and run away. Where were those rock military guys who are making noise today? So they want us to stand, allow our party supporters to go and sleep, then they will come and implement their rigging tactics of swapping ballot boxes and snatching ballots. It won't happen. We are telling him if he has that plan, then he will contain us. He should prepare and get more magazines for his gun.
But you were in that meeting yesterday. You engaged the police. Have you tabled your concerns to them?
Of course. We made it very clear.
What response did they give the political parties then?
We don't want any armed military man near any police station. No, we don't want it. This is an internal democratic process we are doing. You have no right to come and flex your muzzle because you are wearing uniform at the polling station. You don't have that right. Don't forget it. It's our taxes that is giving you the gun. If you have your own money, why don't you go and buy your own gun and form your own business? But the state has mandated you to protect it. You don't use it against them. These are the issues we are talking about. So we laid bare our issues to the IGP and made the IGP to understand that, look, these issues that we are talking of, we are very mindful about it. When we are getting closer to election and you start hearing ugly noises like that coming from officers who should have known, I don't know the people who are going to disturb the peace of this country. I don't know the people who are threats to the security of this country. And I believe the military high command should have called that gentleman to order and warn him from stop making such statements publicly. Otherwise, he's going to disturb the honestness. We are not going to take handless. We are law-abiding people. We will have advised our supporters, our agents, everybody to be law-abiding and make sure that they comply with the state security police service at the polling station. They should respect the presiding officers and their assistants. They should respect the returning officer, electoral commission staff. They should respect them because they are the people mandated to conduct the elections. But nobody should be allowed to be toyed around. Just because you are wearing uniform, you want to come and dictate to us how we should go about it, telling people that they should go and sleep after voting. Who told him that? Where did he learn it from? Where did he get that kind of dictate from?
Thank you, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, for your time here on Newsdesk. Well, still with politics and election-related stories, the Member of Parliament for Menfi East constituency, Nicholas Amankwa, has decried the neglect of NDC MPs in constituting the community mining oversight committees. Some MPs of constituencies hosting the mining schemes have been named as part of governing boards overseeing projects. But Mr. Amankwa says the politicization of the scheme has neglected the expected impact on communities. My colleague Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The Small-Scale Mining Committee, in conjunction with the Minerals Commission, have oversight responsibility over the community mining scheme. The operational manual also names a relevant chief of the area and the Member of Parliament among persons representing the community. But the Amenfi East MP, Nicholas Amankwa, has observed the sidelining of NDC MPs in such communities in the appointments.
It's very unfortunate that there's none MP who is part of, this committee, with the exception of MPP MPs. I can speak of myself and that of Honorable Wisdom Kujo, who is the Honorable Member for the good people of Christian Onibali. You know, as you rightly stated, this is a mining area, but we are not part of that board.
The community mining scheme aimed at providing a controlled mining regime in the artisanal small-scale mining industry is part of efforts to stop illegal mining. The initiative, which is supposed to be exclusive to Ghanaians, was rolled out for all the country's mining regions. Former Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Oben, rates the initiative as a failure.
You know, when you say something is a community mine or community, it belongs to the people in that particular area. But in the community mining policy, you have to register a company, and then a piece of land is given to you. You will see somebody from Accra having a piece of land at a place in a community and say, there's a community mining. And then if you look at the governance of the community mining, they say the local MC or DC will be part, the local MP will be part. But practically, our studies have shown that where the MP is not a member of the governing party, that MP is not part of the governing board of community mining. Even in some areas, the chiefs wonder whether they have the community or it is the mining ministry that has the community.
The former CEO has been leading the NDC's Committee on Mining to campaign in mining communities in the country. The team has been telling the miners to return the NDC to power to ensure sanity in the mining industry. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Well, as always, Election Headquarters is brought to you in association with Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox, a convenient service, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Also brought to you by Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development, Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough, potential real estate, your trusted partner in real estate, and Deluxe Paints, Paints More Champion. Well, away from that, headmaster of Wa Senior High School, Alhaji Adam Idris, is worried about inadequate infrastructure to take care of the students at school. He says the facilities at the school, especially dormitories, assembly and dining hall, will be stretched to their limit, with the total enrollment of students pegged at around 2,000 700. Well, Alhaji Adam spoke when the 1989-year group of the school handed over renovated classroom block to the school. Rafik Salam reports for more.
Various year groups of old students of Wasini High School, Wasosa, over the years have not turned their back to the school upon completion. Many of the year groups have one activity or the other that they are executing at the school, aimed at complementing the effort of the authorities, by extension, the government. Wasosa 1989-year group, for example, has undertaken several activities at the school, including the donation of sporting equipment. The latest project embarked on by the 1989-year group is the rehabilitation of the school's Block E, which was in deplorable state and as a result not conducive for learning. Communications Director of Wasosa 1989-year group, Ibrahim Seidu Bomanjo, threw further light on their activities, urging other year groups to emulate their example.
We contributed and made sure that this thing was a reality. At the end of the day, we were able to raise 56,274 Ghana cedis to 29%.
Headmaster of Wasini High School, Alhaji Idrisu Adam Tedman, whilst commending Wasosa 89 calls for speedy completion of the 2,000-seater ultra-modern auditorium funded by the Office of the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Summana Kinsport Babin.
Now, as it stands, WASEC needs an 18-unit classroom, a dining hall, and a boys' dormitory that can contain 800 students and a girls' dormitory that can contain 800 students.
Our Powers Regional Director of the Ghana Education Service, Abdul Razak Koura, spoke highly about the performance of the school on the secondary education reform program.
The good news is that Great WASEC has the highest number of staff in terms of teaching staff in the region, and their performance as part of the secondary education reform program are within the best.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
You're still watching Joy News X. We'll be back after this breather. Just stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us here on the Joy News channel. Now let's do some other stories. The leadership of Kajebi Asato Senior High School in the Oti region says it is poised to inculcate farming as a profession in their students. The school has cultivated large acres of rice and maize to augment government's food supply and generate some income for the school. There's more in the following report by Peter Seno.
Kyerematen Status Senior High School is one of the model schools established by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in 1959. The school was renowned for its agricultural prowess in the 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s. The accolades the school enjoyed in relation to farming were lost in the past years with a shift from agricultural studies to the arts and sciences. The new leadership of the school, led by Emmanuel Kwabla Cole, says it is poised to bring back past glories.
The school was an agric school, and they were farming, and then along the line, it faded out, the vision faded out. And so as an old student, I wanted to revive the agric, and then to be able to produce more crops, or to be able to feed our students, and then be able to generate some income also from what we produce. Now, we equally want to inculcate the agric spirit in our students so that they will be able to learn the skills and be able to replicate those skills when they complete school.
The head of the Agricultural Science Department, Tobias Bata, says students must consider opting for the study of agric science since the department has all it takes to make them entrepreneurs for the future.
We are trying to encourage other students who are here to get admission to the school to come and pursue agriculture. In fact, rice is not the only crop that we have cultivated. We cultivated maize about some 30 acres. We just harvested our cabbage, and then we have piggery and then poultry farm. So we are encouraging students to pursue agriculture when they select CASEC.
According to the headmaster, the school has already made some gains in terms of sales of the farm produce from the past season. He is asking the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to consider supplying some farm implements to the school to increase production and also inculcate farming into the younger ones in support of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program.
We want to produce more, and therefore we will need implements like tractors, like tillers, to be able to produce more, to be able to feed our students. The school has a very big land on which we can cultivate. And then as we cultivate, we're going to support government for the planting for food and jobs so that the students will be able to learn the skills and then also go out and practice it and then also produce to feed the nation. We will need the support from government, organizations, NGOs, and benevolent societies to help us to expand this farm to be able to produce in large quantities.
The dry spell in the northern zone is also having its toll on the crops as the rains have stopped over 4 weeks now. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Well, let's take you now to Safari Valley Resort, which is buzzing with excitement as some 208 young students gear up to immerse themselves in nature. Last Friday, MJL Safari Valley Eco Initiative kickstarted in spectacular fashion, transforming the resort's vibrant landscape into a dynamic outdoor classroom. Well, today we're back there and Jackie is there for us. Jackie, tell me what's happening.
Well, Faustina, good morning to you and our lovely audience. We are currently at Safari Valley. Last week we were here and we started with 100 students, just as you rightly said. Today we have 280 students, a spark in the numbers today. We just finished touring the first camp, which is Camp Hevia. I'm here with the students. We just want to find out more from them. At least you're going to tell our audience what we just learned from Camp Hevia. These are students from Morning Star School. Now, let me start with you. But before we come to what we just learned, when you first entered Safari Valley, what was your first impression?
Well, I was quite astonished about the natural formation of the trees and the roads, which don't affect the grass and everything. But honestly, when I first entered, the first thing I saw was this peacock. I actually got deceived to believing that it was real, but then upon closer glance, I saw it was actually not, and I was actually disappointed because
I can see you are very dumbfounded by everything that's going on here. But let me speak to one of the ladies too. What was your first impression when you entered?
The trees. I'd say the trees because growing up, everywhere I went there were trees, and I love nature just like my dad. I was introduced to nature by him, and there was a chicken there. It was called the Silky.
Yeah, the silky chicken.
I like how it interacts with other chickens, especially the chicks. How it interacts with the chicks.
Yeah.
Even if the chicks are not her own, she still interacts with them well.
Yes, that's a silky chicken. But then, at the end of the day, we just started a tour. We have other different camps to go to. What are your expectations at the end of the day? What are you expecting to learn?
Well,
I'll hold it for you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm expecting to learn more about nature, more about like how this terrain is, about the eastern region, what plants, like indigenous plants that I can find here, some animals I've never seen before in my entire life. For example, that big chicken that we saw right there, that, like they said, it was the second largest chicken, which can also be found in the UK. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. But what about you? What activity, you know, there's still going to be fun activities. What activity are you expecting to do today?
I'm looking to interact with the animals, get closer to them, have more connection with nature, learn more about the sustainability, and have more fun than ever before. Thank you.
Okay. All right. What about you two? At the end of the day, what are you expecting to leave here with? What are you going to tell your friends?
Mostly, I would love to have more understanding about what goes on over here. I realize that this atmosphere is a very serene one, and I pray that I'll be able to learn to appreciate nature and animals, because I don't really like animals, but...
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know. They just don't correlate to me. But by the end of this, I pray that I would learn to understand their nature, how they act, and then I'll begin to like them.
Yeah, but after the first visit to Camp Hevia, where we are currently at right now, what has your view changed a little bit when it comes to animals?
It has, because I just realized how fascinating they are, and I'd really like to learn more about them.
Okay, interesting. You're home, you're missing out. You need to come to Safari Valley. Well, let me speak to you too. So far, we are just at one camp. We have other 3 or 4 more camps to go to. What have you learned so far?
I've learned that we have to keep our environment clean, and we have to make sure that there's no pollution. And we also have to make sure that we don't cut trees.
Okay, all right. Well, you've heard from the students. We have a lot more of the students trooping in. This is still the first batch. We just finished with the first door. But just as I said, we have other camps to go to. We'll be seeing different types of animals. When you come to Safari Valley Resort, Safari Valley Eco Park, we have different types of animals. I mean, last week when I was here, I got to see different types of zebras, emus, ostriches and all that, which we'll get to see pretty soon if you stick with us. We're still right here at Safari Valley. Over to you back in the studio for Stina.
I'm looking forward to also be part of next week's trip. Hopefully my boss will let me go. You're still watching Joy News Next. We'll be back with business news. Please stay tuned in.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has said that Ghana's economy is improving and recovering to pre-COVID era. He made the statement based on projections that the economy would grow by 3.1% in the first quarter of the year, but it instead surged to 5.8%. Here's more from the 13th edition of the Association of Ghana Industries Industry and Quality Awards 2024.
The Association of Ghana Industries hosted the 13th edition of the AGI Ghana Industry and Quality Awards 2024, uniting industry leaders, innovators, and policymakers to celebrate excellence in Ghana's industrial sector. The event was themed, Navigating the Uncertainties of Our Business Landscape to Sustain Productivity. During the ceremony, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam stated that Ghana's economy is recovering to the pre-COVID era.
Economists will say it has recovered. It has recovered because last year we projected to grow at 1.5%. We grew at 2.9%. This year, by the first half of the year, we're supposed to have grown by 3.1%. We grew at 5.8%. Let me emphasize that the half-year growth 2024 is more than half-year growth in 2019 by 0.4 percentage points. And this is why some of us are optimistic that this economy is returning to the pre-COVID growth trajectory. I would like to pay tribute to you, industry, for the role you have played in growing our economy.
Meanwhile, the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Eyimdake, appealed to the Minister of Finance to reform Act 891 and tax policies to alleviate burdens on private sector businesses.
When you adhere to and look at the Act 891, it will also help you in the Fisheries equation, where you bring about the stability. And the Fisheries equation talks about what? The nominal interest rate and the real interest rate plus inflation. So that when the Bank of Ghana deploys the monetary policy tools, in where all things are equal, when inflation goes down, the nominal interest rate must go down. This anomaly, you're a student of economics. Respectfully, we believe, go and re-look at Act 891. We are willing to engage you to bring reasonable stability and predictability to business. Finally, we have also embraced tax reforms that all the two political parties are itching to bring up as to whoever wins. We really need tax reforms. The complications in our tax positions are not good for business.
The event emphasized the importance of collaboration between policymakers and industry leaders in driving economic growth.
Now, Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Fred Ntubwedu, is cautioning fisherfolk against bad fishing practices that would cause a reduction in yield. According to him, over 10% of the country's population is directly dependent on the sector, hence the need to adopt sustainable practices that would not deplete the fisheries resources. He was speaking at the celebration of the World Fisheries Day in Accra.
Ghana earned about $254 million from export of fish and fishery products in 2022. If well managed, the sector could contribute significantly to the socio-economic development of the country, as production is expected to reach 202,980 metric tons in 2024. Speaking at a ceremony to mark World Fisheries Day, Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Fred Ntubwedu, said a surest way to build a sector to engage in sustainable and innovative fishing practices.
As we celebrate this day, let's take a moment to appreciate the progress we've made over the past decade. And I urge all of us to reaffirm our commitment to sustainable fisheries while adopting innovative, sustainable exploitation, utilization, and administrative practices to safeguard our fisheries resources and the livelihood of those who depend on it.
Senior Fisheries Officer at the Food and Agricultural Organization, Indiaga Goye, urged the fisher folks to adapt to the changing climate by strengthening the resilience of the fisheries sector.
Climate change also is a major threat, disrupting fish migration patterns and contributing to environmental change that affect the productivity of our ecosystem. Pollution and the impact of illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing are eroding the marine ecosystem, putting at risk the very resource on which we depend. These challenges remind us that while fisheries have sustained us in the past, we must take immediate steps to ensure they will continue to thrive in the future.
This year's World Fisheries Day celebration, which also marks the 10th anniversary of the endorsement of the voluntary guidelines for securing sustainable small-scale fisheries, was themed Blue Transformation in Action.
And that's it for business. Back to you, Fosti. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I've missed you. Well, that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjoinline.com. At 12 p.m., I'll be back on your screen, so I'll bring you Joy News today. We told you that the president will be commissioning a 97.6-kilometer railway line at Tema. We'll take you there at 12 p.m. My name is Faustina Safo. Good morning.
We did not see.